because I have forgotten before. So my name is Christopher Luna, and this is the Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, a all ages uncensored LGBTQ plus friendly event, pro-science and anti-fascist since 2004. I have people zooming in from various locations around the Northwest and other parts of the country, and I'm joined by my co-host Morgan Paige. And Morgan, would you like to tell the good peoples of Ghost Town Poetry where you're zooming in from tonight?
Yeah, I'm actually zooming in from Colombia. So I'm out of the country right now. Really happy to be here.
All right. We're really happy you're here too. And I'm happy that your connection is such that you can be here with us. Yeah, it's wonderful. Are you having a good visit in Colombia so far?
It's absolutely stunning.
Great.
Incredible journey. Yes, thank you.
So a couple of just sort of like housekeeping type things. We ask people to keep themselves on mute while the poet is reading. And then we would really like it if after the poet has read their poem, if you would hoot and holler and clap and make as much noise as possible. This will remind them that there are live human beings there listening to them and help us all keep the energy up. If you keep things on your speaker view, that will allow you to see just the person who is speaking during the reading rather than the tiny boxes. And that might be a better experience for you. And let's see, anything else I need to mention? We're going to go through about 6 open mic readers. Then we're going to introduce our featured reader, Chris Gonzalez, who is here with us. We're very happy to have him. And then we'll do the rest of the open mic after that. I don't know if there's anything else. Am I forgetting anything, Morgan, that they need to know before we start?
I think you covered everything.
Okay.
Super excited to have Chris Gonzalez here as our feature. I'm really, really excited and looking forward to this.
Me too. Yeah, I met Chris over at the very cool series that Igor Brezhnev, who's here with us, hosted at Rocking Frog Cafe. That was called Word Lights. It was great. And that gives me an opportunity to remind Igor and everyone who's here, if you have a website, if you have a Patreon, if you have a book that you want people to know about, feel free to put that information in the chat. I would recommend that you do it more than once during the reading, certainly while it's your turn if you're reading for us tonight. But the reason why I recommend you doing it more than once is because there's going to be a lot of material in the chat and people might miss it. And then I will save the chat as well. And if anybody is like, oh, I really wanted that book, but I didn't catch it, you'll be able to get that information from me after the reading is over. My other co-host is my wife, Toni Lumbrazo Luna, who came into my life around 2007. And then not too long after that, I was coaxed into actually getting up to the mic to introduce readers. And she asked me if I would read a note to the community from her. And it's going to take a minute, but it's important that we get this out there. And I'm going to post this on Printed Matter Vancouver website as well. Toni says, "Dear Ghost Town poets and friends, I have known many of you since I joined the Ghost Town poetry community in 2007, and have come to appreciate your honesty and goodwill through your poems. I have been most fortunate to form many friendships in the Vancouver writing community that have enriched my life beyond poetry. Let me remind you that the Ghost Town poetry community has some of the most talented, courageous, and humble poets I've ever met. This community welcomes newcomers as if they're old friends with open arms and warm hearts. I've come to know so many of you personally and have always felt your kindness and love. For this, I thank each of you. I have made the difficult decision to step away from my co-hosting role to relish in the beauty of my retirement. Having the luxury of more time with fewer responsibilities is something I've sought for a while. Now that Morgan Paige has joined Christopher on our team, I feel that this is the perfect time. As a person that lives with Toni, I will tell you that I've been, trying to get her to actually be retired and enjoy her retirement for a very long time. So back to Toni. Believe me when I say you haven't heard the last of me. I plan to attend these sessions periodically, eager to hear your words and to see your faces on Zoom and in time face-to-face. Who knows, I might even have a new poem or two. Until then, I owe a huge thank you to Morgan Paige for her friendship, talents, and endless optimism. I'm humbled and thankful for the multitude of talented featured readers we've heard over the years, and to our hosts Mel Sanders at Cover to Cover Books and Leah Jackson and her team at Niche Wine Bar, who've always gone above and beyond each and every month, and to those who came just to listen because poets need an audience. Most of all, to the poets who are the heart of Ghost Town, thank you for sharing your work so boldly over the years. I've learned much from you and sincerely appreciate your candor and commitment to poetry and to Ghost Town as the place you choose to share it. I have been continuously impressed with your talents. And this part's really fucking weird. Lastly, to Christopher, for his untiring support and collaboration these past 14 years. His encouragement has meant everything. And remember, you can find love at a poetry reading. We are living proof. Be well, love each other, and keep writing. With love and respect, Toni Lumbrazo Luna. So, just weird to talk about myself in the third person. I try to avoid doing that. So yeah, let's hear it for Toni. And as she mentioned, you will see her again. She just is stepping away from the co-hosting duties for a little while. And yeah, I'm happy that she's doing that because I know it's going to, that she'll be happy doing, this is what retirement is supposed to be about. It's doing whatever the hell you want, right? So, okay, we're going to start off the open mic tonight with Edith Blackbird. And as I mentioned, Edith Blackbird was absolutely one of our highlights of last month's reading. So is Edith still here with us?
Hi, yes.
Welcome back, Edith.
Thank you so much. Can I use music, by the way? I was just about to ask you.
Yes, that would be just fine.
Okay. So if you can hear the music and my voice at the same time, please let me know with a thumbs up. Okay, can you hear that? Can you hear my voice as well? Okay, got it. Let's dive into this one. This is called Limbo Children. The difference between limbo and existence, so scattered, product of birthright in one place or another, I believe, belonging to somewhere, if ever, the right of matter, where a third dimensional place of land, piece of land, will be called home. But sometimes you go home to a dream, Where are my choices? What's gonna happen now that you don't belong here? My birth certificate doesn't have enough stars and stripes and blue and white and red. Your face, mine, is no USA-ish enough, see? Just see it. My blood, my Mexican features. What's gonna happen now that you don't even belong there? Not my call, I guess. Limbo strikes my head again. I look at the window. Right to my left, through the corner of my eye, across my doubts, people passing by, talking about dinner. Something unknown sings to nature out there. Water caresses the rocks and the trees rectifies the flow out of my sight and lungs. Oh, a sip of freedom from outside makes me thirsty. Damn, so thirsty. I want so more, but I can't. So just sight. Stay while they use you. Go away when you feel safe. Your womb is untouched. Your taxes are done. No finished business with the laws, so get out. Gotta fuck off here. Your dreams, good intentions aren't profitable enough, no commercial enough, nor superficial enough, nor shallow enough, not even worthy in your homeland. So, sir, yes, sir. Now, take your restless tongue and put it behind your throat while they strangle your voice with dusty rules in the name of a home for all. The hypocrite speech, a home for nobody indeed. How much are you worth in dollars? Excuse me. Oh, never mind. Don't forget where you at. A land where limbo children pull upon the borders, fighting to belong somewhere, just like you, just like myself. Get it? Like you. Yes, sir, yes. But I don't want to leave, sir. Please, please let me stay, please. Let me be somebody here in this land, on this side of the wall. I'm working hard with the language, see? I even can fake my accent a bit to please you, sir. Please give me a chance. Oh, again, I look at my window, right to my left. People passing by, talking about a sea of freedom from outside. God makes me thirsty again. I want just a little more. Please, God, give me some more. No, I can't write. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Edith.
Thank you.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah,
Gracias.
that was awesome.
Beautiful.
So cool.
Yeah, I appreciate the music. As I'm someone who's read with music quite a bit, and I talk to my students about this a lot. I mean, poetry and music have been linked throughout the entirety of their history. So it's so great to hear poetry and music together as often as we can possibly do that. Next, I'd like to introduce my old friend, Jim Martin. Jim, you ready to read something to us?
Yes, I'll be brave. This one I wrote a long time ago, probably about 18 years ago, when we were doing poetry at the public library. And it was the first time I started it about a year before I met Chris. And then writing with him, I started to really feel what I was doing. And this is sort of about that. Doesn't have a title, never has. Some year it might have. My thought, like a bird developing within an egg, forms slowly. First, it looks like one thing, then another. Each part asserts itself in its turn. In time, like the bird in an egg, my thought looks like itself, and like the bird, begins to peck at its confinement, takes the first steps to enter the world fully formed. The bird, breaking its shell, flutters out into the world and begins a life of its own. Just so this thought, free now to travel, flutters out and speaks itself to the world, leaves its home to join a cosmos which has no bounds, as eternal as a living thing can be within a finite universe. No longer mine, it flies on its own wings, shifting and moving, changing its course in the winds and currents of the thoughts of all who have lived. Sailing its course, maturing as it goes, it may, one day, return to sway the mind of its birth. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Love that.
Thank you, Jim.
And you know, another one of those people I met at the library here in Vancouver when I was very new to town and very new to the Northwest was Eileen Elliott. And Eileen has an exciting announcement to make, and she is also going to read something to us. Welcome, Eileen.
Thank you very much. I'm releasing my book that I've talked about for a number of years, Pobrecitos. We're doing a First Friday event in February. It'll be at 4:30 in the afternoon. And I put an information of the Gmail. You can send me a Gmail note if you would like to get a ticket for that Zoom event. I'm really, really hoping you can come. My two illustrators who've worked with me on the book will also be here, and they are amazingly talented young women who are at Vancouver School of Arts and Academics. So please, please, please do come, or just send me a note if you want to know more about it. There is also a note, there's an announcement on Facebook as well that Christopher so generously put together, and it's posted in Pacific Northwest Poets. He also made some amazing postcards, which I'm trying to figure out how we're going to be able to share those with people. Definitely mail some out, probably do some things like that. So that's what's going on now. I'm reading a poem tonight that was inspired for me by a jazz musician, Gato Barbieri, who is a Brazilian, originally saxophone player, though he did much of his work in France. He stopped me cold the first time I heard this song, so I wanted to share it with you. It's the song Europa, and the name of the poem is Shedding 7 Skins and Living 9 Lives. The carapace cracks at the first reverberations. Long, slow, lean slivers of light enter my soul. Ribs peel back and separate, a flower unfolding to the dawn, shimmering, shaking, exposure to mystery. No part of psyche or corpus escapes. The body floats, emerges, engages with the sound. It's held to earth by only a cord of light. The saxophone cuts through, undermines excess, past indulgence. Breath is no longer in control, stopped, held by the climb, the ascent of the horn. The lingering notes soar, continuing to rise and rise. My mouth is dry, my tongue is parched. I can no longer speak, but words are gone. It matters not. There's the sound, only the sound. The searing pain of night, universal ache of loneliness. And Gato teaches me, he teaches me the heaviness of my jaw, the weight of years upon my chest. It can be gone in a few more bars. Just stay with it. Linger in the sound, stay a while. You will be released and lowered back to ground. Clean, though ripped apart, ready for another day and strong enough for one more night.
Yes, beautiful, Eileen.
Awesome.
Woo!
Thank
Clap,
you.
clap.
Thank you.
And so far it's, the theme is community here. I really do think that open mics, one of the reasons that they exist is to build community and to share information. So there's gonna be lots of information in the chat. And I'm about to put the link for that Facebook event about Eileen's book launch. You're not gonna believe this book. It's beautiful. The illustrations are incredible. And the poetry is lovely as always. This is Eileen's third book, and I'm proud to have any role at all in helping to get the word out about this thing. So I hope that you will all check that out and buy a copy,
Well, Chris and Toni have been absolutely instrumental in helping me get this going. And one of my illustrators, when the project was dead, one of my young illustrators said, Eileen, what about that book? And kicked my butt pretty good. So here we are, we're done. It'll be out soon. Thank
you so much, Eileen. I can't wait till everyone can see it. And speaking of community, Lorraine Zawadney, who's also Artstra, has
Stopped. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're frozen, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Lorraine.
Okay.
I think
great.
he just cut out though.
We
Okay,
can hear you.
fine. So I'll proceed then.
He's back. I see him.
All right, all right. So I know most of you, and so I think most of you know who I am and how much I appreciate your voices and the value of poetry and the arts in my heart. It's quite apparent if you know how I spend my time for arts advocacy. So I thank you all for being here tonight and for sharing. I value you highly, your voices. And so what I have come to do, and I'll just introduce my subject, I will not take long, but I wanted to share with you a quote from Jeanette Winterson, her book, Art Objects or Art Objects, which will say, I think, very beautifully the strength of my passion for the arts. If truth is that which lasts, then art has proved truer than any other human endeavor. What is certain is that pictures and poetry and music are not only marks in time, but marks through time, of their own time and ours, not antique or historical, but having, as they ever did, exuberantly untired, but living as they ever have. I need to get my glasses on. So I came really to announce that the deadline is coming up pretty quickly for our call for the Clark County Poet Laureate. And this is a position that began in 2013, a 2-year position. Christopher served 2 terms, and then Gwendolyn Morgan just finished her term the end of December. So the call is open. The timeline is pretty short from now. I apologize about that. It's been out for a few weeks already. And it's the 22nd of January, midnight. And so I encourage you to think about applying, and or if you are not inclined to apply yourself, perhaps you know someone who could be encouraged to apply. It is a volunteer position, but there is a significant effort, and I know there will be some funds available to probably just defray the costs of whatever, maybe traveling expenses, etc. All the details, position description are on the Clark County Arts Commission.com website. So there is a direct link to application, very specifics about the position description, and the call has been out quite broadly in as many media sources I could think of, and Chris was kind enough to put it in his on his website as well, and on his email announcements. So I hope that if you're interested, that you have seen this and that you will be able to apply. So that is I don't think there's anything more to say unless someone has a question about the position, but all of that can be accessed on that informational site. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lorraine. And I'm just going to encourage people who might have questions for Lorraine to put those questions into the chat. And you can, when you're using the chat function on Zoom, select another person who's a part of the meeting. So you could select Lorraine's name. Her name is Lorraine Zawadny, as you can see, and send a message directly to her if you would like to ask her a question about that while we're all here together. So now I'm going to turn things over to a very capable co-host, Morgan Paige.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that message, Lorraine, and for continuing to value and support the poetry community. It means a lot. So I also want to acknowledge Toni Lumbrazo Luna, who this series would not, it's never going to be the same without her, honestly. And I'm honored to have stepped into this role and, in order to deepen my love for this community that has changed my life, just point blank. And she is one of the reasons why. So I just want to give a special shout out to Toni and just tell her we love her. Please hug her for us. And we can't wait to see her here sharing some more beautiful words and her presence. I'd like to share a short poem in Spanish tonight just to get things started, and then I'll introduce some readers as well. If I have time, I'll share the English version, but for now, because I'm in Colombia, I'd love to share this poem I wrote a couple months ago in Español. El silencio es oro. El silencio es la melodía del infinito. Las palabras, las ladrones del corazón. Por eso me expreso ahora a través del lenguaje de la noche misteriosa. Pensamientos pesados con tiranía, cuerpo pesado con apatía. Yo quiero esconderme detrás del lenguaje romántica. Yo quiero esconderme detrás de la noche perfectamente oscura. Yo quiero entrar en el mundo de los sueños. Yo quiero conocerte ahí. Podemos viajar en nuestros subconsciente, aceptar nuestros perdidas. Tragarse el uno al otro entero. Gracias. And in English, if I have time, would you like to hear it in English? Is that
Please.
okay?
Sí, ¿por qué no?
¿Por qué
yes,
no? Gracias. Silence is golden. Silence is the melody of the infinite. The words, the thieves of the heart. That's why I express myself now through the language of the mysterious night. Thoughts full of tyranny, body full of apathy. I want to hide behind the romantic language. I want to hide behind the perfectly obscured night. I want to enter the world of dreams. I want to meet you there. We can travel the subconscious, accept our losses, swallow each other whole. Thank you. Cheers. Salud. Literally. Yes. Edith, gracias. Yes, and now I'd like to introduce our next reader, Bethany Lee. Bethany, are you with us? And would you like to read us a poem?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
This poem is inspired by Eos, the goddess of the dawn. Apparently, she had a habit of turning her lovers immortal, at least some of them. And one of them, she turned immortal, but forgot to ask for eternal youth for him. So he just ended up immortal as an old man until she took pity on him and turned him on into a cicada. So this is a few questions to ask before dating Hyperion's daughter. Would you choose, if you could choose, to be taken as lover by a goddess, even if you knew she had the power to make you live forever? Would that be something to hope for? A reward if your prowess pleased her? Or a threat that at any moment you could be cursed to a cycle of never-ending dusk and dawn? And what will happen to an immortal when the sun rises on the earth the last time and swallows it whole, a mantis with her prey? Do you get a deadline, billions of years hence, before which you must piss off one of the lesser gods enough to be cast out into the sky, to be turned into a star? And what if you were her second choice? She had already tired of the first and regretted her rash reward. She's finding out just how hard it is to ghost an eternal being. It might take an eon or two to get bored, to get around to the end of even the most extensive bucket list. Imagine how many friendly dogs one could grow to love and mourn. How long would it take before the losses, the homes and friends, crumbled cities, civilizations, fallen trees, grew to outweigh the gain. Another dawn every morn, the solace of twilight every damn eve, and plenty of time to travel. Would it speed by, time that is, if you knew you possessed all of it? Or stretch just to the breaking point and never beyond? Would you do anything, fuck anyone, lose everything but yourself to stave off the final endless night? Perhaps if I would choose forever, I have lost already myself as well.
Yes.
Bravo.
Thank you so much, Bethany. That was a powerful piece. I loved that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Next, we're going to hear from our good friend, Bruce Hall. Bruce, are you with us? Welcome to the Ghost Town Zoom stage.
I've got one I wrote in one of Christopher's Monday night works, one coming up the end of the month. And the prompt was quiet now. Only the deaf know what quiet is. The mouse doesn't know. Everything makes pressure waves, displacing air, setting up vibrations, oscillations, soothing or otherwise. If white noise is the constant hiss, hum, crackle, what is black noise? Is it the sound of silence, the sound on a 113-degree day, the crack of nothing in the woods, between the daytime insects, amphibians, mammals, and the nighttime insects, amphibians, mammals? The coyote calls to locate the pack, buddy up to hunt. During the day, coyote wanders apart, searching for sleep and black noise, the noise between the beats of the clock, where no pressure waves exist.
Very nice, Bruce.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you for mentioning Christopher's workshop. Yes, I think he put a link to the next one. And yeah, if you haven't attended one of those workshops, please do. You're going to come up with some great poems and read some beautiful poetry as well, and get introduced to some new poets. Yes, next we're going to hear from Ian Caton. Ian, what's up, Ian? Welcome to the stage.
I didn't think I was going to be this early because I didn't contact Chris until like today.
It's all you.
Trying to be like one of the last poets on there, but oh well. I wrote something though. Can you see it? There it is. It's on paper and I printed it. So I was gonna put music behind it, but I decided not to. But oh well. All right. What else? Oh, I have to announce I'm gonna start seeing a therapist. On January 20th, I get to go see a therapist, and it'll be on Zoom. And it's like, I'm going to be a mature adult, like trying to like handle situations on, on my own and stuff like that. And like, there's people out there that really want to help you and stuff. And so like, if you think you're going to handle stuff, but it's like, you've been handling stuff, but it's like, you still got troubles, like reach out and get some help, because I think that's going to be good for me. So anyways, this one's called Ancestry Kit. My wife got a well, hold on. Let me start over. I was going to do one other thing. I was going to put music to it, but I decided not to, but now I'm going to do a cool background. So here we go. And it works better if you do view and you do speaker view, because you can just see me then. All right. It's called Ancestry Kit. My wife got a 23andMe ancestry kit from my kids for Christmas this year. And despite my insisting it be just another means for big tech to track us and Cambridge Analytica to exploit my data / predict my liberal voting history, I decided to double up on the results. On the results, I decided to double down. Turns out I'm 50% Welsh from my father's side and Southern Irish from his mama in Alabama. 25% WASP, but we don't talk about that. I'm 1/2 Norwegian and 1/4 German from my mom's side, and 1/3 Portuguese pirate and Filipino from my grandfather, with just a touch of Puritan English from being bashful when naked, and from my great-grandfather's family riding along on the Mayflower in search for America, riding along on the Mayflower in search for America. 1/2 hippie Californian, accustomed to sticking out my thumb to catch a ride up and down Highway 5 from Chico to Yosemite, and 1/2 conservative Eagle Scout who can start a fire using flint and steel, cook an Eagle Lake trout, but prefers a burger cooked monster style from In-N-Out, and yet prefers a burger from In-N-Out cooked monster style. 1/2 dad stranded out here in the rain in the Pacific Northwest with a job that barely pays me bills and 1/4 substitute teacher, but I think I've done taught me last class now, and all the while I think I've done taught me last class. A musician, a poet who won't write poetry and doesn't play music, who's stuck on his memoir, or maybe it's a novel, the truths and untruths always seeming to intertwine themselves and wrap around with each other, and whatever sounds best at the time, the truths and untruths always seeming to wrap around and intertwine themselves with each other, and whatever sounds best at the time, whatever sounds best at the time at the time. Thanks.
Right on, Ian. So good to see you here and hear your work. And yeah, thanks for showing up, man, for yourself and for all of us as well. So yes, next, I could not be more excited to introduce our featured reader tonight. Chris Gonzalez is a force, and I cannot wait to see what he brings tonight. Chris Gonzalez is an educator, journalist, playwright, poet, musician, and creative collaborator based in Portland, Oregon. And he really, truly embodies all of that. Chris has been a featured poet for the past 6 years, performing alongside international slam champions Saul Williams and Shane Koyczan. His first book, Water or Bread, was published by Human Error Press in 2017. Super stoked to have you, Chris Gonzalez. Welcome to the Ghost Town Zoom stage.
Hey, thanks so much. It's so nice to see you, Morgan. It's been a long time. And it's also nice to see everyone. I'm going to do the gallery view so I can see you all. Okay, yeah. Thank you all for sharing. Hey, Igor. It's just nice to see you. Also, Ian, awesome. I love that you're doing that. It's the best thing ever. I hope that it goes really well for you. I'm really happy that you're fucking doing that. It's so important. And I wish you all the best with that. I think it's a great thing. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I appreciate you, Christopher, for creating this space and for holding this space. And yeah, it was probably a long time since I've seen you as well, probably over a year. So I hope all of you are doing as well as you can be. And I appreciate everyone who's read so far and for having me tonight. Yeah, this poem, I'm gonna read one poem. I have sort of been known to just like take up all my time with one piece. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm just gonna read one piece. It's something new I've never shared before. Yeah, it's kind of, let me just make sure that I'm getting there. Eileen was talking about jazz inspired poetry and, you know, the real music and just sort of, you know, I've talked with you, Christopher, some about like beat poetry and just about music and poetry. And, you know, a lot of this poem really came from just listening to a lot of jazz. And it's called Creation Story. In the beginning, saxophonist saxed, black waxy smiles waxed. In the beginning, light was blue, dark was blue, All rose and fell, blue. Gods sat in backs of trains, composed with their feet up on their briefcases, erasing rests in warm light. Gods stood in black and white, set fell vases upright, fistfuls of blue noise in the beginning. Each offbeat clap beam broke long light, and some notes sustained themselves for 52 weeks straight. On those wide tracks around the sun, nothing was undone. Everything matured under strong, warm light. It was peace, but it was seeds and stems of war. First, there were problems, then there were more, then chaos, then opportunity. Shiny new black shoes shuffled as the mic stand wobbled, pinstripe suits soaked in sweat. All gods strode in a single spotlight, putting on a show. The pizzicato light bulbs, blue, the stained sinning tongues, the black stinging need, the oceanic worry and voice of guitars. There was one blood red wilderness in each auditorium, and black bitterness in every bar. There was a single spotlight and a single voice, and it sung, "If you leave me, well, then I can't live no more." When on this earth first man loved a woman, a single voice said, "I've been redeemed, so please don't leave me." In the beginning, the sea ascended like birds, so high the first blindnesses were broken through the air. Cold and sweet, so high black wings were frigid. A voice rose true, and it said, "This can't be true. You're still leaving me? That's all right, because before the beginning we were colliding liberties, and I'd rather be lonely than be with you, blue. Blue, blue, blue in my floral dress. I was a god. You see, I banged on my piano till the ice caps thawed. We crowed, we cawed. And all along our filthy hungers, we sinned. We knew that we loved, and we loved, and we were blessed by love. We were a confluence of prayers flowing in the big black mouth. Somehow the devils loved us too. Our wide, ugly smiles, gold head dresses, bracelets, earrings, gaps in teeth. These were my features. Now they are my daughters. My daughters know God because they know history, because I taught them. A strictly blue education. Make the invisible seen. Paint faces that look back at you through the painting. Work hard in America. Duplicate your prints, pass the best ones forward, because the indignities of time make your decisions for you. So please, my love, make your decisions for you. Don't duplicate mine. I tell them back in the beginning, all birds now in cages flew, and the first waters were free, until a stolen scepter drew the waters apart with a horrible scream, and then it dangled the waters midair and settled them in every street. Each rippling indifference created a single country, a concrete chaos. The scaffolds of this monster had teeth. Its districts and definitions had claws. Once water settled, slogans crawled up from throats like slimy, slow legislation that made it so you forgot who you are. Names and claims to property. But back then there were no names, only a single voice, blue. And it said, "I must be true." And unfurling in those boiling waters, change was grinning into existence. The ignorant skies gathered over the dark blue waters and gave birth to us. Cities climbed higher, known and unknown expanded. A mayor's voice spoke through a poster downtown. Black kids picked white dolls. Black boys kissed white wives. Black cameras spoke through long silences and stagnant air. Black cameras clicked and flashed and captured unloved children side by side, and even men with women's hair. Whole unheard hearts unhidden, and the deaths of little children saved somehow by photography. That was the beginning. And after that was the alchemy and movement of bodies breaking through choreographies, Black choreographies all across the floor. The inferior feeling of nobodiness bent back into shape. And that's when you were born. Part 2. Then once light had broken beyond black and white, cavemen walked city streets. Dust heads, kings and queens, turquoise cut in crown shapes, clockwork-hearted, claw-footed cavemen fanged with bone scepters, yellow-eyed beneath the yellow skull of the sun, popcorn down the hatch, unrepresented by reason, unloved and neglected, bored by fame, died too young. These first children were the first sacrificed, untitled skulls worth only the price of canvas in a bag of heroin. The weight of a yellow and electric blue lifetime, the length of language. These first children created the speech we now speak. And back then, God, you would have loved it. There were untaxed and free images of Black heroism on every street. These original white-tongued beasts played blue classical guitars and drank red wine with white gods on purple duvets and got head as the dark breezes kissed the coldness on their beds. And these first children wept with no words to express the rage of their inferiority, which was also lust. So instead, they created, they fucked, they bathed in rivers, waving their arms toward their enemy's God. They were delivered into the dark clouds, into the white texts. But the hope they rested somehow made them doubly re-blessed, as if they'd always existed beyond the written word. These first children flashed back into the sky in a blur, and a mass of black clouds struck quick back down and scorched the earth with the whip of white lightning lashing live wires down. And that's when the cities went dark for 1,000 years. The trains and serpents and the long dark rain. The cavemen yanked blue flames from the silence, but it was glass pipes breaking to crack smoke. It was crack smoke blown from 7-story windows. It was also your father at the window, looking down at his women. It was him, crowned with smoke in his dark studio. What you need to know about your father was, well, he occupied a dark period in my life, one I refuse to remember, except for his terrifying apartment, which was your giant blue womb. That's where you were born, in a very dark room, with blue flowers plucked to the blackening stem. There was no love in us when we conceived you, but you know that, though. As you walked those stone spiral steps into this consciousness, didn't you hear? Couldn't you see? The day you were born, I clenched my jaw as a thunder broke purple clouds open, and you blew. Because your father had fled into his wilderness, and I felt his footprints across my chest as they hit the wet concrete. Candle flames bowed and departed as your father was fleeing us. But I could still see through the blood to the breeze and the love, and I moaned until you arrived, rising in muck and scum and blood and sap and salt water, and I gagged and retched and rejected the poisons, bright red and pale blue pools of poisons at my feet. You know, my first fond memories of you, my first child, are of you happy and asleep. Your blue pond heart lapping, you at peace. And as I lifted the wet vines off you, the room filled with fog. Within minutes, I was gone, back out on the street. I was so high I didn't sleep for 52 weeks straight. but you know that though, don't you? Look, I've tried to go barefoot through shame and remember this and sing you this story because this story is singing you and watching you and telling you how happy we all are that you're alive and that you made it. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really nice. Right.
Wow.
Great
Woo!
work, Chris. Really great work.
Thank you. I
Beautiful.
appreciate you all. You all are awesome.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
you all. Thank you for listening to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Powerful.
Beautiful.
Visual.
Really, thank you so much for being here, Chris. And
I
you know, we
appreciate
all,
you for having this space. I really appreciate you for setting this up. I thank you, Christopher.
you're welcome. It's my pleasure. And I know that this is, you know, this is an oral tradition. I also really feel strongly that, you know, as creative people, you know, we thrive in community. A fair amount of the work is always going to be done in solitude, but we're human beings and we need to have contact with other human beings. So I truly, you know, wish for the time when we're all going to be able to do this in person at various venues, and look forward to hearing you do your thing again, Chris, as well. You know, yeah, thank you. That was really great. And our next open mic reader is Ghost Town regular Joanne Boswell. Please say hello to Joanne Boswell.
Hi, I'm really nervous to follow you up, Chris. That was amazing. Thank you. Most of you who are seen me in Ghost Town a lot, you know that I grew up a conservative Christian home, and now I'm a Quaker mystic, but I still have a lot of ties to Christianity. But I wrote this poem this weekend, and it's called After the Divorce. I still find Jesus to be helpful, the love pouring out when he plays with the kids right there on the floor, and how he never blinks when he listens, even though I've been silent for years. People ask how we can still be friends, and then I'm sure you never met him, never peeked between the politics and pages, witnessing his naked torso, the truth of his incomparable compassion, and never saw the two of us wrapped together in my bed, falling asleep each night grateful. You didn't notice how we lit each other up, Christmas trees flirting with impropriety. Of course, I know I sound smitten, still giddy in love, and I am broken. I knew I had to share him with the multitudes, but recently that has become impossible. The trash he comes home with, the baths I prepare to restore him, how he keeps going out anyway. It's his nature to try saving the most egregious, the most distraught, the most violent. And this is how he set me free, telling me, yes, seek the companionship of more gurus. He did not fight for custody of my soul. It's mine, uncontested. We'll still spend most Sundays catching up, along with the occasional midweek family dinner. We're determined to stay in touch, always look for the best in each other. In fact, on Wednesday, Epiphany 2021, when I finally signed those papers and he carried out his last box of childhood Awana badges, he gave me a gift, his beloved Rolodex, containing the personal email addresses of some first name basis type friends he knew I'd want to spend some time with. St. Nicholas, Samwise Gamgee, Shonda Rhimes, Sirius Black, Snoopy, Socrates, Sonia Sotomayor, Stacey Abrams, Steves, Martin, and Colbert, Swami Vivekanand. And that's just a sampling of the S's.
Thank you, Joanne.
Fiona.
Now, some of the people in this group already know this, but check out Joanne's lovely book of poetry and photographs called Cosmic Pockets. It's a great book. I hope you'll pick one up. And next we're going to hear from someone I believe is reading with us for the first time. So I'd like to send a lot of good energy, good Ghost Town energy her way. Michaela Gallup, we'll be hearing from Michaela next. And welcome to Ghost Town Poetry, Michaela.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, this is definitely my first time, actually, not just with Ghost Town, just reading in general. So I don't have any links for you. So
It's all right. It's all right.
All right, I'm just going to get started. And the name of this poem is Omnibus. So here we go. When my father started sowing his teeth and they sprouted up dragons, he kept going. An ignorant farmer often makes for an infallible reaper, and anger is a potent poison growing in these gated gardens. I've been choking down charcoal for as long as I can remember. If my mother was the queen of the gods, she is now queen of the ghosts, because sometimes it is harder to forgive someone for what they did not do. This is not hatred, it's just a haunting. Some summers I will not come home, where love is still measured in pomegranate seeds. When I built a shrine for my lover, I worshipped her in wine and in what-ifs, but she was not immortal, and I was so impatient. When the candle wax fell in second thoughts and sunlight, it burnt these grasshopper wings. This is the miracle of the myth that I am a deity of mercy and not of madness. All of my fates have left me threadless, and I don't know if I'm following the monster or the maiden now, but I am not my muses despite it all.
Well,
amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Loved it. Thank you, Michaela.
Killer. Awesome.
Michaela, turn your microphone on for one more second, Michaela. Did you say this is your first time doing that ever?
Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I hope you're feeling that same vibration that I feel when I do it. And may this be the first of many for you. That was really wonderful.
Thank you.
Great job.
Was.
Oh, and you know, one of the things that's been cool about Ghost Town from the beginning is I could tell people who I was meeting for the first time that they would receive a lot of love when they came to the Ghost Town readings, and the community never made a liar out of me. It's a pretty good place to do it for the first time because you know you're going to get that love from the audience, you know. So thank you again for not making me a liar tonight. And I hope that you'll come back, Michaela, please. Next, we're going to hear from Sarah Brico. Welcome back, Sarah. We'd love to hear your poem.
Yeah. This is called Broken. I have heard love described as brokenness, that it takes you apart and puts you back together. And deconstruction is, God, so damn beautiful. An expression of trust, that they will see you shattered, all those sharp edges, nothing left to hide, and pluck them one by one, caressing every part of you until you are whole again. But shattered is where you left me. I tried for so long to find each piece a perfect fit in my broken body, but it never worked. It took me years to realize I am not the pieces. I am the sinew, the white-knuckled glue, the goddamn duct tape holding them together. And perhaps, if a lover melds you, guides your becoming, maybe then the seams are golden and beautiful. But I am proud of my duct tape. I feel myself teetering on collapse, stitches pulling taut against a wound infected, threatening to throw me back into that perfect, broken abyss. I have made it this far, and maybe tomorrow I will fail, but duct tape is strong. I am strong, and I can make it one more day.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That was amazing. Love it.
Now I want to just say I was really happy to hear duct tape in a poem. I can't remember any poems that I've read with duct tape in it. So there's your assignment, everybody. You want a writing prompt for tonight? Write a poem with duct tape in it and send it to me. Kudos. Okay, next we're going to hear from Eric Christensen. Welcome back, Eric.
Thank you. So I figured that if I was ever going to go back to my surrealist roots, the end of 2020 going into 2021 is the time to do it. So this is called Our Times. I take inventory of my scars, make sure the blood is coagulated into cheap red rhinestones, calculus of loss for the ledger book. Try to look around the crack in the mirror, too late. It's already part of me. By this time, the killers have already shaved, brushed their teeth, but they probably use a more expensive deodorant than I do. In a year of in a year of laughing rats and bleeding maggots, together on the road to Damascus. In my time of gasping singers, ashes flow into each other. Armies of shoes wash over those trying to flee. Radios assault, gum ads terrify. Waves cry because fish are cursing them as bombs drench the changing grass. Nozzles beat hard rain on demonstrators and children lick blazing oil. A smile will drive soldiers to pirouette and the sea to rejoice. Yesterday is a cheap whore he tries to get out of his house before he goes to work. Forget as much as possible. But too much has been forgotten already. Politics of memory. Never again. Latest fashions terrify my saturated grin. Bombs spin around and dive into the driving sea. 2 hours early. Sheets of rain spreading out over the pavement, scattering points of contact on the driveway. Streetlights infiltrating through sliver of glass exposed by the parted blinds, then popping out in the wake of streaks of blushing light like centuries relieved. Drive. Trees standing in soup lines, forced to bow by managerial wind. Skeletons peer out from antique store windows. Yards are open graves for brown crumpled leaves. Neon signs winking secrets to me. Cracks in the sidewalk spreading into maps of my childhood, and then in another world completely, squat, grumpy-mouthed suburban houses. Raped like a pig, the city heals the way skin heals. Crucifix is winter, attacking, waiting. Nightstick swims in electric current. Starched white business collar wipes itself off from a fresh kill, and the boss sells it like a potato. The killers punch their own time clocks. They wear their medals, shine their brass, stand at the podium, and smile in memory of their crimes, nostrils wide to take in altar smoke of skin. She digs his skin out from under her dirty fingernails and flicks it in his forefather's ashtray. I looked at the puzzle and, much to my chagrin, found there weren't any pieces missing. Stone constructs a hungry altar. Solitude ignores the desert that has elided speech drifting through a blushing veil. The garden, same from Eden to Gethsemane, blinded with the breath of birth. Sky looked to hopes. Street looks to sky and hopes, while fists tell jokes and mouths burn. His surrender wished for the fountain to smoke and the dreams to suffer. Street drinks what the crucifix is constructed. His breath flew to the wax of birth, stiff collar mocked by the waiting hearse. Dreams joked with the journey about the burning they shared. Solitude blinded him to the glimmer climbing up the stairs, so that veils and deserts may be obsolete.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Love that piece. Gosh, everybody's bringing it tonight. This always just reinvigorates my soul and my spirit, you guys. Thank you so much, Eric, for sharing, and Sarah and Michaela and Joanne. Just an amazing lineup tonight. Loving it. Next, we're going to hear from a poet that I really love as well. Her work's incredible. Rose Ram. Rose, you're up.
Yes, thank you. Okay, this is Snake and Dog in Oz. You asked me to go on where they snapped, "Stop that clamoring. Why need Nirvana and Pearl Jam," they claimed. But I heard only innocence. They labeled me liar, cheat, and thief, a go-nowhere nobody, J.K. Rowling novel molding in the ditch with old corn husks and potato peels. Oh, I lost my poem, sorry.
Are you muted, Rose?
Let's see. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, there you are. You're back. Yeah.
All right. I sneak into the village after decades of decadence, seasons bewildered. You might just ask me in. You had nothing else to do then but roll like a dog in my scent. Brains claimed by a chain, the bride of ferns and furs. Residual headlights and moonbeams shine from us to us as through lace. The message, a Nordic yelp of tail-wagging finery. Toto, electric clouds hum. Rabbit ear antennae reach the tippy top to catch the widest waves. Cellophane crinkles a classical music ballet. Cicadas in the sunset sing along, endure an arid summer, spin October frosted winds. Dorothy never comes home. Her little dog nips and roughs, roll over, play dead, spin and spin. Wicked witch cackles flung out with centrifugal force to the far edge where a tyrant deals under the table cards not in my favor. I don't know why he hates me so. What karma rocks my dharma for fixing things up and ripping them down. If only, I learned. And what can we do? But the question was really an answer. Fly swatter for fancies that might take off. The snake rears up, tastes my breath, skin walks round an apple, gulps a whole rat instead, and settles to digest something big.
Yeah. Absolutely love that, Rose. I have so much respect for your work, and thank you so much for showing up tonight. It's so good to see you. Next, we're going to hear from Steve Getlin. Steve, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Christopher, can you put my poem up? Is Christopher there?
Let's see here.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Looks good.
I'm here.
Okay,
Okay, there we go.
There's the poem. Can everyone see it okay? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Christopher. Night run to Nha Trang. Late start back to Nha Trang, Central Highlands to the west, South China Sea to the east, lapping at Shore Road cliffs, crescent moon rising. We drove around the hairpin turns and deep cuts of the shore road, moonlight washing over broken pavement, the road around a turn disappearing into shadow. Sun setting into mountains, clouds masking moon. Dusk became dark, we continued, skittering over asphalt mosaics, banging into potholes across drumbeat washboard stretches. Then in my headlights, 3 men digging, mines stacked nearby with weapons and tools. They froze, Edward Hopper's Nighthawks with AK-47s. I flicked my high beams, punched the gas pedal, laid on the horn, drove straight at them. They dove for their rifles. My lieutenant drew his .45. The Jeep's right rear tire bounced into and out of the mine hole, and we were around the next hairpin turn into darkness. I cut my lights. We slipped and slid through curves down to the sea, pushed south, saw runway lights, heard aircraft, smelled human waste mixed with diesel fuel and burned. The Army's answer to shit happens in Vietnam. We breathed deep and smiled inside the wire.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Steve.
Great work.
Very
Steve.
nice, Steve.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And next we're going to hear from Igor Brezhnev, a good friend of some of ours and someone that You got to know if you don't. Welcome to the Zoom stage, Ghost Town stage.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Christopher, for hosting yet another amazing Ghost Town. And thank you, Morgan, for co-hosting. And goddamn, it was so good to hear Chris Gonzalez read again. I've missed you. Goddamn. Powerful stuff. And it's always amazing to be here and hear everybody's work. And now I have to write a poem about a duct tape, you know? So that's the highlight. You can find my work all over the place. I got about 30 copies of my last book, America's a Dry Cookie and Other Love Stories, left. So you can grab that on my website, igorbrezhnev.com. I'll post the link again in the chat. And I also have a Patreon. My single source of income is that. And so if you'd like to support me in writing things and doing things, you can go on there. There's a poem a day for $1 a month, and other things that I share on there. And I also share daily poems right now on my Instagram at Igor Brezhnev Official. I've started writing daily again. It's a practice that I've done about a year ago, and now I'm doing it again. So I'm going to read one of the poems from that practice. That's from January 11th. Hello, someone in the distance. May you be abundant in health and happiness, or at the least, may you find contentment within a storm. I juggle words for no other reason that they are, like the rain is, or the silence is. Watch them leap and figure eight with whimsy. One of my friends demanded whimsy, and I oblige. Look, they jump for us through space and time. Look how they, like clouds, ask your mind for meaning. You'd ask, how am I? Well, you didn't, but I imagine you would ask. I am okay. That is not honest, but most want a pretty lie instead of pain. No matter. Look, there are puddles in the darkened street, and rain's percussion is our metronome for the jazz of hope. The tea is almost cold. The world, she sleeps, and trains like whales bellow warnings to us that are awake. Or maybe they in meditation of their iron hearts. Tell me, my someone in the distance, what news you have? What weather swaddles you at night? Do dictionaries love you? Do syllables still do you right? Your city, does it breathe you? Well, that's all right. Thank y'all.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Definitely follow Igor on Instagram, and yeah, pick up a copy of his America's a Dry Cookie or his Night Scent series. Phenomenal poetry. Thank you so much, Igor, for being here and bringing such beautiful work from your daily poems. One of our final readers of the night, I know we're going to hear from our host with the most, Chris Luna, after our final reader here on the list, and that is Susan Rankin. Susan, you are up. Welcome to the Ghost Town Zoom stage.
Thank you. This is a poem I wrote this afternoon for tonight, and it is has to do with the riot that happened on January the 6th. A coiled rattlesnake flaps in a yellow field, threatening to strike the United States of America. The undulating spangled X accelerates the mob, Xing out, the United States of America. Pepe the frog god mimics the swastika to provoke the United States of America. Boers, barbarians, a mob would rule over the ashes of the United States of America. Voracious maniacs raise fists above the West Porch, defecate on the ornate floors of the United States of America. Riding Tyrannosaurus Rex, President Trump launches a grenade on the United States of America. Ordinary evangelicals, country masses, merely want to own the libs. Are they ignorant of the deadly attack of their fellows on the United States of America? A half-naked, furry-horned, red, white, and blue-faced man, appropriating our sacred symbols with a great whooping howl, mocks the United States of America. A senator's raised fist tears the mob on to the Capitol to overthrow the United States of America. Republican members tweet the whereabouts of the Speaker, Pence, and AOC, executioners of the United States of America. Benign orange hats upturn, bash, and destroy. Crusader crosses maraud the halls and chambers and offices of the United States of America. Capitol Police, the National Guard, the Secret Service are suspect now. Who is there to protect the United States of America?
Increíble.
Susan, I really appreciate that. And I've been working on a poem on the same subject, and I really didn't feel like it was ready or felt like it was done. I kind of feel like I want to see what happens with the inauguration before I call my poem done. But I don't think that I could have said it any better than that anyway. And I appreciate you expressing what a lot of us are feeling right now. So I have a different, a poem with a kind of a different feeling to it to end things this evening. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can read along with me. This is, still in progress, I guess, still working on it. So open to hearing what my friends here might think about it. If you have any ideas about how it is or where it might go. So thank you for letting me share it with you. Truth and light. There are at least 1,000 deaths and rebirths in the arc of a single day, masquerading as moments of pure mundanity. When Thich Nhat Hanh tells us that there is no birth, no death, I really want to believe the guy. The energy that connects all beings is a gleaming force I have felt course through my body. I have done everything I desire. I have accomplished nothing. I have lived the life I envisioned. I did not get any of what I wanted. I remain grateful and dissatisfied. Cloud, wave, sheet of paper, waiting patiently to be transcribed, transformed, afforded the opportunity to reveal the cosmos its emptiness contains. So
love that, Christopher.
Vietnamese monk who lives in France. His health has not been so great recently, but I think he's in his 90s at this point. And I believe this is the gentleman who was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Martin Luther King. Not everybody can say that, So anyway, check out Thich Nhat Hanh and Plum Village for some good messages. I read Thich Nhat Hanh's books as a way, because I realized that he was a person who was explaining Buddhism in a way that a lay person could understand. So if that sounds interesting to you, he'll talk to you about how you can be in the present moment while you're brushing your teeth or washing your dishes, and just lays it out in a very clear and easy to understand. And thank you for listening, and thank you to Morgan for co-hosting, and thank you to Chris. Yeah, thank you to everyone for being here, and we will see you in February when our featured reader will be Michael Dylan Welch. Just very grateful for all of you tonight. Rest of your evening. Thanks for being here at Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic.
Thank you so much, Christopher, and thanks so
Thank
much
you,
to
Morgan. Thank you,
Chris.
Christopher. Very nice night. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Great being with you.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Hope to see you again soon. You're welcome.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Welcome.
evening. Thank you. Enriched.
Definitely. All right, Joanne, hold on. Don't go off yet, Joanne.
Okay, I'm here.
So we're gonna make a movie.
Okay.
But you want